The Bell Witch Haunting. The Bell Witch Haunting is one of the most famous and chilling tales of paranormal activity in American history. It occurred in Adams, Tennessee in the early 19th century, and it continues to captivate and terrify people to this day. It all started in 1817 when John Bell, a local farmer, began experiencing strange and unexplainable events at his home. The Bell family lived on a large farm, and John was well respected in the community. But soon their peaceful life would be shattered by something beyond comprehension. The first signs of the haunting came in the form of bizarre noises. The family would hear faint knocking on the walls and doors late at night, followed by scratching sounds, as if something or someone was trying to claw its way into their home. At first, they dismissed these disturbances, thinking it might be animals or the wind. But before long, the sounds became louder and more frequent. They heard chains dragging across the floor, disemboweled voices whispering in the dark, and what seemed like a faint woman's voice singing and chanting. The entire family started to feel like they were being watched, especially at night. Things took a sinister turn when the unseen force began physically tormenting the family, particularly John Bell and his daughter, Betsy. Betsy was the main target of the haunting. Her hair was pulled violently, her face was slapped, and she often woke up with unexplained bruises and marks on her body. She would scream out in terror, but no one could see who or what was attacking her. The Bell family was terrified. John Bell also began experiencing physical symptoms. He grew weaker by the day, suffering from fits, choking, and paralysis of the mouth, often unable to speak or eat for long periods of time. The entity seemed to have a particular vendetta against him, and it made no secret of its hatred. As word spread about the haunting, curious neighbors and visitors started to visit the Bell farm to witness the paranormal events for themselves. Many reported seeing objects move on their own or hearing eerie voices of what they now call the witch. The spirit was said to identify itself as Kate, claiming to be the ghost of Kate Batts, a woman who had once lived nearby and held a grudge against John Bell. Whether or not this was true, the force only grew stronger. Even Andrew Jackson, who would later become the 7th President of the United States, heard of the Bell Witch haunting and decided to visit the Bell farm. Jackson, intrigued by the supernatural, came with a small group of men prepared to stay the night and confront the entity. But when Jackson's carriage got close to the property, it reportedly stopped suddenly, as if an invisible force was holding it back. No matter what the men did, the carriage would not move forward. Eventually, the spirit allowed them to pass, but the haunting escalated so intensely that Jackson and his men fled the farm, vowing never to return. John Bell's health continued to decline, and in December 1820, he was found dead under mysterious circumstances. On the day of his death, the Bell Witch reportedly laughed and sang, claiming responsibility for his demise. She even mocked the family at his funeral, as witnesses heard her voice ringing through the air. After John Bell's death, the paranormal activity lessened, but didn't disappear entirely. The witch eventually left the Bell family alone, though some reports suggest she promised to return in the future. To this day, the Bell Witch hauntings remain a mystery. Was it a spirit seeking revenge, or something even darker? The Bell Witch Cave, near the original Bell farm, still draws visitors who hope to experience the paranormal for themselves. Would you dare visit?